This is your First Alert Weather Breakdown, a deep dive into how weather works with meteorologist CJ Cartledge.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Thursday. I'm First Alert meteorologist CJ Cartledge here on the KSLA First Alert Weather Breakdown for today. And guess what? One of the main topics for today is our Met Chat. We are going to be going over ways to stay cool around the Arklatex, especially since the heat wave has finally made its way into the region just yesterday, or actually earlier this week on Tuesday, where highs reached well into the 80s and some of us even the lower 90s. But we did see some cloud cover through the day on our Tuesday, so that's why temperatures didn't reach much higher than that. And as we moved through yesterday, it was a little bit warmer around the region. We definitely saw the warmest conditions that we saw all year long for the year of 2025 so far. But we're also going to dive a little bit into the local forecast before we wrap it up for today. So make sure to stay tuned for that. First order of business is we're going to be talking about our Met Chat, which is pretty much the topic of ways to stay cool during the summer season that is expected to come up, as well as the end of the spring season. As you may know, as by the time gets to around Memorial Day, that's when the temperatures start to rise here around the region. The average temperature has been rising ever since the winter season, of course, but that is when the temperatures will start to ramp up, and that's when we will start to see more 90-degree highs as opposed to 80 and 70-degree highs, similar to how we saw earlier this month and to end the month of April. So I'm going to dive right into the Met Chat that we recorded yesterday. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you after the break, which is coming after the Met Chat recording.
Welcome on into the Met Chat. I'm meteorologist Evan Thomason here. It is a beautiful day to record this. I'm recording this outside. I've decided to take this Met Chat to the next level by showing you firsthand of what the heat and the Arklatex can do, even just during a live stream. I'm just got off work and still in my kind of clothes here. Everybody's acting like I'm nuts, but hey, it's a way to do it. It's a way to do it. Anyways, first time we've done Med Chat again in a little bit of some time, but of course, as I have in front of me, I have CJ Cartledge, Austin Evans, and Chief Meteorologist Matt Jones. Welcome back. Obviously, we had cool condition, honestly, a cooler than average May, would you say, before this week, so to speak?
We definitely had some cool days. I don't know. I haven't looked at the overall temperatures for the month so far. But I know this past weekend or Mother's Day weekend was like pretty chilly. So at least we had a couple of cool days.
It was definitely pretty chilly. Most of our highs have stayed, I feel like, either cooler than average or around the average for this time of year. So it could have been cooler than average, but I feel like it's mostly around the average for this time of year. Definitely not typical for the month of May, though, especially since last year I believe it was well above the average.
And we're only halfway through the month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So.
Well, gotcha. Personally, I enjoyed this past Sunday here. That was a weird, wacky day where we had highs in the 60s, but obviously that's gone, and now we're back to Arklatex heat. It's summertime. I think I can officially say that. I feel like I've been proclaiming that with like a bell, so to speak. Not the end is near, but summer is here, so to speak.
Yeah, well.
Especially with this heat wave, it's gonna really be here probably for the next week or two, if not longer. I think we could just say, safe to say, summer's back. He is back. So we wanted to take this Met Chat to take the time to go over some typical things of just stuff that you need to kind of be refreshed on for Arklatex heat. Now, I know everybody knows how to kind of beat the heat in their own ways. There's the simplistic answers where, drink water, stay cool, shade always helps, those kind of things. But we wanted to also come up with some creative ways to stay cool, especially for the beginning of the season, because I kind of said this today. Like, the temperature is going to be like this, obviously, all summer long. But sometimes the heat surprises us the most when it first shows up. I kind of compare it to like whenever you're first driving, the worst time to drive is when it first starts raining, because that's when it just starts getting slick. you're caught off guard maybe a little bit, so to speak. And that's what I feel like some people might barely be caught off guard, especially how much we're rapidly warming up the temperatures here for this week. So, what are some out of the box type of things that we can get our viewers to cool down with? And I can go ahead and start to give an example. One of the best things to do is to grab a little mini cooler maybe with you, or maybe like a lunch box that just easily helps insulate. Get some ice in there. Put maybe a rag in there. Get like a nice cold rag. Take it out of the cooler, out of like the ice cooler, and then just put that on your neck. I think that's a good way, especially if you're working outside. That really refreshes you up very quickly. Also helps to keep your body temperature down. Obviously, your body is helping to try to sustain itself and keep itself at its own temperature.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just that cool, relaxing rag kind of just puts your mind and your body, I feel like, just a lot more at ease. I feel like it almost releases stress in a way by doing that as well, which is kind of weird. But just grabbing a rag, a cold cloth, and just putting that to your neck, and just doing that for a brief amount of time here especially in the heat of the afternoon, really makes a difference.
Yeah, I definitely think so. Something to just bounce off of what Evan said. Sometimes I like to do like different activities outside, like play basketball, run sometimes. I've ran in 95-degree heat before with heat indexes above 100 degrees pretty much. So one thing I would like to do is like how Evan said, to put a rag on your neck or something. I like to just pour water on my head. That's literally, as long as it's not too cold, because that's when you can get thermal shock and all these other problems with your body. But if your body you feel like you start overheating, just pour water on your head. That's literally the most refreshing thing I can think of to do while you're in the heat. Or drink water. You can drink it, pour it on your head. Any way is fine. It both cools you down by a lot. It does a good
Yeah,
cooling
that's a
you
good
down.
one. And another good one,
Yeah.
if you're going to be out, oh, go ahead, Austin.
Oh no, I wasn't.
Well, I can say if you're planning on doing outdoor activities, try to avoid. We always say people, maybe not everyone realizes this, but try to avoid, those mid-afternoon hours because that's when it's obviously the hottest. And so I would recommend doing maybe early morning stuff, maybe before like 9 a.m. if you can, or maybe after the sun is set. But if anytime, I'd say this time of year, really anytime between like 1 p.m. and sunset, it's really hot. So try to avoid that. But if you are going to be outside, also wear like light colored clothing, which people don't realize sometimes because it kind of reflects some of that sunlight. So, I mean, you probably felt it. If you wear a black shirt versus like a white shirt, it makes a huge difference. So wear that white shirt instead of the dark colors.
As someone whose closet is filled with mostly black shirts, it does help. But I'm the resident heat hater. Everyone knows that.
Yeah, you are.
And you got so we all know about drinking water. Something to help, especially if you got to be outside in the heat for a long period of time. You need calories. Eating stuff. You don't have to eat super heavy. In fact, I recommend not. But eating food, especially ones that maybe contain a little bit more sugar in them to keep your blood sugar up. That will help. Thing that it'll help you at least. Maybe it'll fuel you to do whatever you're doing outside. Obviously, my best recommendation is to stay inside where the air conditioning is. But eat stuff, especially if you're going to be working outside. Have a halfway decent breakfast ahead of it. Don't skip your lunch. I know it might be tempting to get work done faster, but don't skip your lunch. Eat stuff then because you're going to be working all of those calories off. Your body in the process of trying to cool off is also going to be burning calories. So try to like eat stuff. Again, don't get super heavy. I wouldn't get super greasy either, but actually fueling your body so it can operate properly is one that people might not think because they think water, water, water all the time. Water is very, very important, and you should drink it. If you know you're going to be outside in the heat of the day, a Gatorade or two. I wouldn't go too far with it because they tend to have a lot of sugar in them unless you can get the zero sugar ones. Gatorades are good to keep your electrolytes up, but that's
Yep.
also on top of eating food. So if you're going to be outside in the heat of the day, Make sure you're taking care of your body outside of water. Obviously, intake water. Don't intake soda. Don't intake you get caffeine, tea, lemonade. You need water. Though the lemonade part, maybe to a lesser extent, the tea part will get you those sugars that your body would need. But you got to do water. That needs to be like the priority.
Hmm.
And yeah, people might not think to eat, especially if you're out in the heat. You don't really feel like eating. I'm never really down to eat something really big if I've been hot. Um, wear a lot. So it's outside of the topic of heat, but wear sunscreen, please. Just it's
Yeah.
unless you're going to cover your arms, which there are garments that you can wear that aren't super hot, that are long sleeves, that are long pant. Um, unless you're going to cover up like that, you got to wear sunscreen too. We're going to be in the season where we probably get the least cloud cover. So you'll want to also protect your skin. Sunburns are not fun. And if you got tattoos like me, you want to protect your tattoos from the sun as well. That can make them fade faster, and in general make them look worse than they may or may not look. So you want to protect your investments because these things are expensive, and you want to protect your skin because your skin is also important.
Like to go over some points as well to where some of you might be thinking I'm kind of living contradictory to some of the points that we just discussed, especially because yes, I am outside and it is sunny out. We're recording this at 11:30 a.m. It's not during the heat of the afternoon. Also, I'm underneath a tree.
He's in the
There's the
shade, and
pocket.
it's windy. It's very windy. I can
It is
hear
windy.
it.
It is windy out for today alone. For today alone, it is windy. That's helpful. Again, I got my pocket of shade. I'm also sitting down. I am wearing, yes, work clothes, but I do have a white shirt on underneath in case I do need to run somewhere after
Oh, it's
work.
like after work today, when I go to the car, I'm taking this off. And I know it looks weird to passersby. I don't care. The AC is not working in my car right now. Get it fixed
Ooh,
hopefully tomorrow or Friday. But it's rough. It's
yikes.
rough going home right now.
Oh no.
Especially you stop at a stoplight, you'll start seeing wasps. And it's like, oh, roll up the windows, hope you
Oh
don't
God.
die.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
Yikes.
I take his shirt off to at least have one less layer. And plus, I
Mhm.
don't like sweating through these, so
Yeah.
um, it's a strategy. It's not a great one, but in the time being, it works.
Yep.
I also wanted to mention one last point. So the point of what CJ made up, I didn't even know this actually until I think it was either college or right after college. I always thought kind of you drink cold drinks, especially with lots of ice, helps cool you down very quickly. And that seems on the surface it seems great, but especially when you drink those really cold drinks, sometimes it's not the best for you because, as CJ kind of mentioned earlier, it kind of shocks your system. And I didn't even think about that as well. But it makes sense. You kind of want your body to settle into being cooler, so to
Mhm.
speak. You don't just want to
Your body
kind of,
prefers room temperature water, and
yeah,
it is really
exactly.
weird. But like that's from I've read it a bunch of places. CJ has too. It appears to be information that just gets around. I need to actually, verify it medically. But yeah, your body prefers room temperature water. If not
Hmm.
slightly warm, but you don't want to be drinking, warm water when it's 100 degrees outside.
Right.
No one
You
wants to
know,
do that. Room temperature will feel cool at those temperatures.
Mhm.
and something we should probably touch on briefly is just like, and we won't go into this. This could be a whole nother topic, but signs and symptoms of if you're, getting in trouble out there. If you start to feel kind of lethargic, if you start to feel, lightheaded or just super tired, or if suddenly you just stop sweating or you start shivering,
That's a
especially,
big
and
one.
it's yes, when
Those
you
are
stop
big
sweating,
ones.
that's not a
That's a
good thing.
medical emergency.
Right. So there's all kinds of signs and symptoms of heat stroke and heat exhaustion, which I'm sure we'll be covering in our daily newscast. As we get deeper into summer, I'll be talking about it in my weather is probably daily as we get into summer, but there's lots of stuff to look for when it comes to heat exhaustion. And if you start to see any of those signs, get inside immediately and just get cold rags on your head. Try to just get inside as quickly as possible. And at a certain point, when you have some of these symptoms, if you ignore them, it's too late, and you just got to go to the emergency room because it's your temperature is going to keep rising.
Hmm. Yeah. Yep, and that's believe it or not, it happens pretty often, especially
Yep.
down here in the South, where it feels like temperatures can reach well above 100, and temperatures can reach near 100. I know in summer of 2023, that was the first summer I came down here. It was one of the
It was
hottest on
brutal.
record. I think we hit 110 degrees around 2 or 3 times that summer alone,
Yeah,
and
it was
we saw
bad.
temperatures in the 90s all the way till October. So it was very bad. The
It
last year,
was.
you said what?
For our record keepers, 110 is the all-time high for
Hmm.
Shreveport.
And we hit it that summer.
We tied it a couple of
We tried it.
times that
Yeah.
summer. I guess it was so. Yeah, I guess it was probably the summer I moved here, and I think that's 2022. That was that we got second or third in the all-time uh, yearly like triple-digit days for
Mm.
the summer I moved here. Um, Boy, that was rough. That was a wake-up call.
Yeah.
Yeah, I moved here in June.
Dang.
Yeah. Wow. Yep.
I got the U-Haul
All right,
unloaded though before it hit 95.
well, it's got AC, quote unquote AC in the driver where you drive, but usually
Oh,
the
U-Hauls
actual
have great AC. Because I mean they have V10s in them. They have great AC. The box not so much, but the cab's no problem.
Yeah.
Not a problem there. It's just loud.
not not the back. But anyways, I want to go over two last little things real quick, and then we got to get going. Take care of everything in your car. Look at your car thoroughly inside
Mhm.
your car. Say at like every single time as well. Say can this willingly survive heat, as in not even just like air temperature heat, but cars obviously rapidly increase their temperature just within 30 minutes, so much worse than the outside temperature. It's almost an oven, so to speak. Obviously, that includes, most importantly, people and pets, even groceries,
People, pets,
anything that can
electronics.
change, electronics too. Yeah, those kind of things. Also, I know Matt's got one of these pets. Pets, take care of your pets, especially walking on the sidewalk.
There's a
Pavement is
there's a
hot.
there's a little tip really quick. So I believe I read it last year and I've been talking about it. I talked about it on there. If you it's the palm test. If you put your palm on the pavement and you can't keep your palm on there for more than 5 seconds, then clearly it's too hot for your pet's paws. You know?
And don't keep
That's a
Germ-X
great
in your
tip.
car.
Oh,
This is the thing that popped up, and people kind of forgot about it because a lot of people, I assume, try to put the pandemic in the back of their mind, but a lot of people learn the hard way that Germ-X is flammable.
oh
And
wow.
there were a couple stories, not a whole lot of them, but 2 or 3 stories of people's cars catching on fire because of Germ-X. Now that's likely due to the refracting of the sunlight, and that goes into the clear bottle, which refracts it more and
Hmm.
everything. But yeah, don't keep Germ-X in your car. It's just not really all that smart.
Interesting.
Plus, also, and then you go to put Germ-X on your head. It's 150-degree Germ-X. It's gonna hurt anyway. But yeah,
Yeah.
it is alcohol based. Alcohol is flammable. It's just not a risk that you should take. Just keep it on your person or in a bag or in your
Mm.
house. Um, I guarantee you, most of your immune systems are going to be okay if you leave Germ-X outside of your car.
Mhm.
All right, I think we went over all of our tips, right? Everybody good?
Mhm.
Cool, beautiful. Let's get into our Ask Latex question here for today, real quick. For those of you wondering what that is, essentially we ask our 3 trivia contestants, Austin, CJ, and Matt, a trivia question, and they Price is Right guess it. Whoever gets it right gets a point. I forget how the point system works. It's been a while. But anyways, I've kind of lost track, and that's okay.
I don't know.
So, yeah,
I think
it's
I'm
fine.
last.
But
I think me and Matt were like tied at 3, and I think Austin had like 2 or something like that. I believe that's what it was.
let's just treat it like that. I feel like I should have an actual like list, like a sticky
It's on that
notes
laptop
or-
you just replaced.
Yeah. Yes. But anyways, our question revolves vehicles. Hey. We talked about earlier how hot can a car heat up? If it's 100 degrees outside, how hot can a car heat up in 8 hours?
In
8
8
hours.
hours?
8 hours. Now, this might be subjective to my internet source of what I looked at. I looked at 2 or 3 different sources, but they gave me around the ballpark same answer.
It'll
8
depend on the color of the
hours.
car, but I would say 155.
Yeah, I would say something. You know, I did an experiment on this last year where I cooked bologna in my car, and I'm not gonna say the number because that's gonna give y'all a range of what y'all gonna pick, but I'm gonna say 185 degrees.
Okay. I'm gonna go high. I'm gonna say 200 after 8 hours. You said 200.
That could very well be possible too.
The most consensus answer that I got from various sources was around 170 degrees.
Oh, see. Oh wait,
I
who's
believe-
closer?
Who was closest to that?
That was.
I did 155, and CJ did what, 185?
I think I said. Did I say? I said 185. I think I said 185. I was saying 185.
Right in the middle.
Is that equidistant?
I'll give you
Hi.
the point.
That's
Matt's off. But anyways, the point is it gets toasty in a vehicle. Please don't. It becomes a
Very
little
quickly, potentially
Yeah.
fatally. Actually, at those temperatures, guaranteed fatally. It just depends on the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't do it. Don't do it.
It's big
Mhm.
yikes. Big yikes. But anyways, take care of yourselves. All right. First and foremost, you know what's best for you, and especially if you see somebody struggling during this time. I think especially early in the year. Again, that's what I said. It sometimes catches people off guard, kind of when it shows up. Because obviously we know what to expect, but not necessarily when it's coming. Sometimes, so to speak. So take care of one another. All right. Hey, I'm gonna be dipping in the pool this weekend. I think I already proclaimed
yeah.
that on Monday when I looked at the forecast. Walking in at 3 a.m. on Monday, I'm like, okay, yep, it's pool time finally.
Yeah.
Anyways, have a great rest of your day. We'll see you later on Met Chat. Thanks again to Matt, Austin, and CJ for joining. Peace out.
Good morning, Ooh. There was a little bit of an echo there. Sorry about that, everyone. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back. Here are your rain chances. We're going to dive right into the forecast here to wrap up the show, and we're going to talk briefly about what we're going to talk about for tomorrow's show, which I will be back for. But here are the rain chances for the next 5 days ahead, and as you can see, we only have a 10% chance for rain across the region as we move into our Thursday afternoon. That is mainly because of the low pressure system that is actually bringing some severe weather into the upper Midwest or the upper plains, as I should say, in states like Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin, and those areas up there near the Great Lakes region. Those areas have severe weather, and that low pressure system that is currently hovering over those places or going to be hovering over those places by this afternoon, it has a chance of bringing some showers and storms that could turn severe into our northern portions of the region, mainly north of I-30 for today. So that's why the 10% chance for rain is there for areas north and around the I-30 corridor. Everywhere else looks to be dealing with the mostly cloudy conditions and the very warm conditions around the region, with highs may reach the lower 90s and upper 80s once again. Heading into Friday, that chance for severe weather grows across the Arklatex as it moves more southward, actually, which is why the chance for rain looks to increase just a tad bit, as a couple of showers and storms could turn severe as it moves through our area. As we move towards our Saturday, it looks to have the highest chance for rain for the next 5 days ahead, also bringing the chance for severe weather, which I will talk about here in this forecast. Sunday brings the chance for a few showers and storms that are expected to remain non-severe currently, but there is a day for a slight risk of severe weather just outside of our area to the far north and west. Here's the forecast through the day today, and I just realized that I'm covering, once again, the high for today, so I'm going to move my face right back out of the screen. We're expected to start off mostly cloudy, but we could see a few breaks in the clouds for some sunshine as we move through the rest of the day today. Southerly flow looks to continue and continue to be also gusty as well, possibly gusting up to 20, maybe 25 miles per hour at a time, but staying between that 10 to 20 mile per hour range. And highs are expected to remain in the lower 90s and upper 80s across the region as we move through the day today once again. Here's a severe risk for today, though. It encompasses, as said before, most areas around the I-30 corridor and northward, with the main threats being the damaging winds and large hail. There is a low chance for one of these storm cells that will be moving through areas up there to produce a tornado or some weak rotation. So we do have to take that into great consideration and be wary of that for sure. As we move through the next couple of days, we can expect pretty much the same conditions here in terms of the individual severe threats. Heavy rainfall is also likely, but flash flooding, not so much. As we look towards highs for today, 91 near Shreveport, similar to how we saw on Tuesday, I believe. Similar conditions, 85 for Idabel and DeQueen, 86 for Mount Pleasant, 90 near Texarkana, 89 for Minden, Homer, and Ruston. I'm definitely not used to seeing all these oranges and yellows here on the screen in terms of highs. We're definitely getting into the summertime weather here for sure in the Arklatex. Through the day tomorrow, will be mostly cloudy across the region. As you can see, the rain chances look to be very, very low here for Shreveport and Bossier at least. But for areas north of us, they look to have the higher chance for rain as well as the higher chance for severe weather. And as you can see, that southerly wind is not calming down, not any types, any bit at all. As you can see, we could receive wind gusts up to 20 to 25 miles per hour again, with winds staying between 10 to 20 miles per hour, and highs mainly in the upper 80s and lower 90s once again across the region. And there's that severe weather outlook for our Friday. Some highs could be lower than others. If you receive rain for the day, it'll be hard for those temperatures to reach back up to where their potential was if you do receive rain. But there is a slight risk of severe weather, level 2 out of 5 for most areas north of the I-30 corridor and around it. And most of our southwestern Arkansas zones, I would say, everywhere in southwestern Arkansas is encompassed under that slight risk of severe weather. Marginal risk for most areas around I-20 and some areas just south of there, all the way extending into Nacogdoches County in southern East Texas. Through the weekend, though, we do have the chance to see some severe weather across the Arklatex as we move towards our Saturday. Highs will slowly increase more and more into those lower 90s, some of us into the mid 90s. As we move towards our Sunday, looks to be more likely for our Sunday where we could see a stray rain shower or two due to those slight rain chances. But the level of severe weather is low for us, at least the Arklatex region. It's a little bit higher for areas just outside of the region here. As you can see for our Saturday, mainly, we're expecting that severe weather risk to grow across the region, encompassing areas around I-30 and northward once again, and areas around I-20 pretty much are under a marginal risk of severe weather. Yellow denotes the slight risk of severe weather, once again being the having the risk for damaging winds, large hail, and the potential for tornadoes, which looks to be at a lower risk as compared to the other threats. Muggy meter, in terms of humidity, will be feeling oppressive pretty much through the rest of the week and into this weekend, maybe into Monday before we finally receive a cool down, which looks to be our next cold front that will be moving through the Arklatex, lowering our highs down into the 80s by next Wednesday. And that corresponds to the lower humidity or relatively lower humidity as compared to what we will see through the next 6 days ahead on our Wednesday. We're expecting slight rain chances for today. Believe this would correspond to 10% of the area having to see higher rain chances for today, which is mostly areas far north of I-30 for today. Highs will remain in the upper 80s and lower 90s through the rest of the week. More likely into the lower 90s heading into Saturday and Sunday. We have the chance to see some severe weather across the region on our Friday and Saturday, and potentially on our Tuesday as well. As you can see those higher rain chances for the day. But temperatures are expected to lower as we move through the rest of the 7-day period, possibly lowering out back into the 80s as we move towards our Wednesday. But temperatures aren't expected to lower as low or get as low as what we have been seeing throughout the past work week, and possibly won't see many 70s as we move forward towards the end of the month of May and the beginning of June. So we could definitely get used to this type of pattern in terms of temperatures, and we could see some higher chances for severe weather as we move towards the end of the month as well. If you guys have any questions or concerns or anything that you want us to talk about here on the KSLA First Alert Weather Breakdown, send an email to weatherbreakdown@ksla.com, or you can message any of us on Facebook at KSLA First Alert Weather Team. Make sure to continue to join us on weekdays at 10:30 a.m. Tomorrow, I will be talking about the travel forecast. If you're going to be traveling through this weekend, I'm going to be telling you in more detail where you could possibly see areas that may get severe weather for this weekend. And I'm just going to be talking about where or the forecast for wherever you may be heading across the country, or whether that be across the country or whether that's across the Arklatex. So make sure to stay tuned for the podcast for tomorrow. Starts at 10:30. Once again, 10:30 a.m., not 10:30 p.m., 10:30 a.m. sharp. We will be right here. So make sure to be there, be square. And as Evan says, always be weather aware. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And this is meteorologist CJ Cartledge signing out. Have a great rest of your Thursday.